Hey, hi, hello everybody, and welcome back to the Goat Force Gaming channel, where we play the roguelikes and the roguelites, and hopefully add all kinds of awesome games to your backlog or your wish list. Folks, I am so excited to be back here again with another look at all the brand new content that has come to Tiny Rogues in what is the largest update to the game that we've seen so far as it's been in early access. This is the Between Heaven and Hell update. And if you were with us last time, you know that we were out there trying to put together a very frosty cleric type of build. I really like the cleric. I have had good luck with the cleric over time, but it just didn't work out in the end, did it? It was a fun run. We got some really interesting things. We met a goat companion. That was cool. So for today's run, I thought that we would get back out there again and see what we could see with the gunslinger. Now, I like to picture Roland Deschain of the Dark Tower. That we are playing as Roland, just slinging all kinds of guns and looking for ways to get more and more powerful over time. Gunslinger has some really interesting passive traits that take advantage of the lucky shot. And so we're going to have a nice run today. And I'll admit to you, this is a watch party. I actually recorded this run the other night and had to be a little bit quieter because the kids are down the hall from me and I can't be in here yelling about coffee and fried chicken and all the stuff that we like to talk about. So I'm going to do that after the fact and enjoy the run now. I want to point out that the Minotaur is the first boss that I ever remember fighting in the game. And I was lucky enough when this was entering early access for the first time, the developer granted me an early look at the game, and I can tell you it was one of those games where I could tell in the first 3 to 5 minutes that this was something special and it was going to have staying power in terms of being a game that I wanted to stick around with. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm excited to tell you that I was correct in feeling that way. So, this is going to be a good run. I'm not going to spoil anything at all. But I can tell you, the run's going to be juicy. Starting out with that golden helmet that's giving us some additional DPS. I thought, hey, why not, right? The other thing that's exciting about this Tiny Rogues run and other Tiny Rogues videos that you might see on the channel in the coming days is that this video you are watching right now is rated G. Now, some of you might know why this is rated G. Some of you might know what that means. Some of you might be sitting there going, this guy's a lunatic. He's talking about fried chicken and coffee and now rated G's. What in the hell is going on? Well, let me dispel it for you. This video is rated G for giveaway. Yes, folks. It's very exciting. The chakrams were very exciting as well. I know it, not necessarily a gun, but they've got the rapid firepower that just makes it exciting. Let's get back to the giveaway talk. We are giving away 15 19 copies of Tiny Rogues. All you need to do is be subscribed and leave a comment. Any kind of comment. Let us know what you're drinking out there. Maybe you've got a nice coffee going or a nice tea. Maybe you've got a latte of sorts. You're out there like me, being fancy today. I had to go stop at the grocery store, and they have a Starbucks, and I'm weak. And so, yes, I did pick up a mocha with peppermint and oat milk because it's a thing that I like to do. It makes me feel like the winter is here in a big way, and the jolly man in a red suit is coming right around the corner, and with him, all kinds of interesting, delicious foods that I'm going to be cooking up. So cheers to you, but comment with whatever you'd like. Tell us your favorite game of the year. Maybe you've got a favorite, or maybe if you're like me, you've got like 19 favorites. I don't know. Hey, it's your world, right? You can have 19 favorites. Just like I have 19 sticks of dynamite. Yeah, look at that power. I mean, the chakram is working out pretty okay. And then we've got that debuff that's being applied as well. It's slowing everybody down. Really great. Works out well on a boss like this. Just knock out the mobility options. So speaking of delicious foods, you know, it wouldn't be a proper Goat Force Gaming video if we didn't get into it a little bit, right? So let's get into it. Let's do it. Let's get into it. Yesterday night, I sent a text message to my brother-in-law. And the text message read, "Can you please supply me with one good reason why we shouldn't deep fry a picnic ham?" Now that's a really tough question to get hit with, I think. First of all, it's a ham. Delicious all by itself, right? And on top of that, we're talking deep fried action. Popping this sucker in a turkey fryer. Now, a lot of you might, if you haven't done this before, if you have not picked up a picnic ham, which is a raw ham. Most of us that get ham, we go to the store, we get a ham that is already pre-cooked. It's come out of the smoker. And you're warming it up, basically. This is a raw ham. Most oftentimes called a picnic ham. So you're popping it in the fryer, and you end up with a very crispy cap of skin. Which is basically a chicharron. Yeah, these gloves were really neat. And I love that whetstone being able to upgrade, in some cases, beyond the third tier limit, depending on which weapon you have. So I sent him an impossible question, basically. How can you turn me down on this? We're talking chicharron pork action. You know, and my other thought was, hey, let's inject it with some other type of flavor. Maybe something spicy, maybe something sweet. As we're doing a normal ham as well. My wife is gonna cook a ham in a roaster. And then we are also going to be reheating a Cajun Popeye's turkey. Popeye's being the famous purveyor of fried chicken baskets. The greasier and the more see-through of the basket, the better. I guess it's a bucket, right? It's a bucket of fried. So we've got a few things going, but I wanted to do one other thing that's just really ridiculous. So I said, hey, how about this deep fried picnic ham option? And he was all into it for a minute. Look at these guns over here. The money gun. Weapon gang's 1% more. That looks very interesting too, but ultimately, this one caught my eye. I really liked the Piranha Bytes status. It's about to get crazy out there. Yeah. Piranha gun. And I was looking at this one as well because of the lucky hit deal. And we've got that. An opportunity to build it up because I recognized that it was a lower chance for now, but I felt that maybe we could build that up over time. So he was into it, especially when I talked about the injection and reminding him that you're basically producing chicharron on the outside. And I would imagine some of you have chicharroned in your day. If you haven't, you probably should figure out a way to chicharron out there. At least once, just do it. It'll be a gift from you to you. Chicharrones, it's a thing that you need to try if you haven't. Just crispy pork skin, say no more. If you like pork rinds, basically chicharron. But if you can have it fresh out of the fryer, my goodness. So he said, well, here's the thing. What I'm not crazy about... Oh yeah, it's companion time. What I'm not crazy about is preparing the deep fryer. So it's a large electric turkey fryer that we usually use for this craziness that we get involved with. And then going out and buying $35 worth of oil. It has been more expensive in the past. I think it actually stayed down at a more decent rate this time. You know, that's very interesting. A snake companion that does poison damage. I was pretty immediately sold on that. So, when I thought about those two components, I thought, you know, he has made a good point here. And really, overall, could just do something else that is less fuss and muss, right? Perhaps using something with the smoker, because here's the other thing. You're entertaining for all of these folks. You've got a loaded house, and then at some point, the fryer cools down, and you have a moment to get in there and drain all the oil. And that's a process too. There's a little spout in the back. You've got to set up your drum of oil that the oil came in. And you've got to angle it perfectly on lucky hit, getting cheap shot, increasing secondary attack damage. See, these were some interesting options here. Ultimately, I liked the crit option there. Let's just say that I have gone to empty out the fryer in the past, and I have ended up with oil cooled down, but cooking oil all over the floor of the garage. And when you've just finished entertaining, I figured I wasn't going to use the TNT in battle. And maybe that was foolish, but I just kind of burned them that way so I could open up room. Yeah, I love that he provides whetstones there. Perfect. Maxed out piranhas, baby. So, you have to be very precise, because you could end up in the situation where you've just finished entertaining 30 people and now you've got oil all over your garage floor, because you want to be able to set it and forget it. You know, and be able to walk away while it's draining. That just doesn't always work right. Fortunately or unfortunately. So when he mentioned that, look at those crits popping. We took out that second form so quickly. It's so satisfying. And with every boss that gets defeated, you get another 100 experience toward the meta progression gains. Yeah, see, I was into that because we had the 0%. So that's where we were coming back, where I was kind of confident that eventually we would build up some additional chance there. It worked out. It worked out. I just have to remember what I'm building towards, and sometimes that's hard. Especially in a game where there are abilities and then sub-abilities and sub-sub-abilities that, you know, happen and proc based on other things popping off. But it's all fun. I like all the domino effects. So anyway, really long way of saying that we ultimately decided that we were not going to go with the deep fried picnic ham, unfortunately. But there will still be another pork option happening. Can we just appreciate that cake gives dexterity and intelligence? I love that. And it looks like a good cake as well. So I will be picking up a pork shoulder. And I will be smoking that on Christmas Eve. So, you know, this was interesting because, again, we're building up the lucky chance, and if you can get the set, then you get that additional ability. We're out there. We're officially on the hunt for the tuxedo now. Let's see what happens. Wedding ring attuned. More luck. I figure that the pork is a good way to go because I could do it all the day before in the smoker. And usually what I do when I'm doing pulled pork that's been smoked is I figured it was worth the curse on that pair. You know those cursed pairs. Necrotic and poison damage from you and your companions. Inflict fragility. Good deal. This guy used to give me issues, but it turns out if you take him out before he can do anything, there are very little issues that happen. Look at how fast he... So it was at this point in the run where I said, you know what, Goat? I think we've got something here. I think this is looking okay, this run. I think we're getting kind of strong at this point. Felt good about what we had built. And I know we only had the 2 hearts, but still, if you can take dudes out before they're even messing with you, you know, that's something. That's definitely something. So we were building in the right direction. That's what that told me. But I am gonna smoke it for a few hours because really with meat and the smoker, you know, you're not getting that much more smoke flavor beyond a 3-4 hour smoke. You have officially infused the meat after 3 or 4 hours. And then at that point, your smoker is really just an oven. Didn't go armory over there because I was pretty dead set on the piranha gun at this point. Oh, now that's interesting, isn't it? Only problem is the massive encumberment. But don't worry. The goat's gonna make it work. We're just gonna be out there fat rolling, right? That's what they call it in the Soulsborne games. So you cook it for a few hours in the smoker, and then from there, I just take it right out of the smoker and pop it right into the crock pot from there. And then I take all the drippings. Oh, look at that one. Oh, buddy. Found a good one. So then you take all the drippings from the pan and you put that in the crock pot with it. And then it turns into a big, steamy, smoky bath for meats. Yeah. That was a good trade. And I like this system of being able to trade out traits and how that works now. So I was feeling good with the additional armor because like I said before, the hearts, they have me concerned a little bit. You know, the goat likes to take a hit here and there. It makes you feel alive. That peppermint mocha is going down smooth. Cheers to you. Feels good to have a watch party every once in a while where I'm not actually playing, I'm just reflecting on the run. Because you can drink coffee very freely. You know, this not being a bullet heaven game. Now, let's see how fast this guy goes down. Yeah, first phase looking pretty good. Look at all the status effects on him. Crazy. Definitely cooking with gas at that point. And here's the other thing too. Like I mentioned in the previous run, we have to, in order to open up these new classes that have been added with the update, you have to go to this Shadow Realm area and take on the Guardian. Well, I didn't exactly know what that meant. And again, no spoilers. I mean, maybe that's not going to happen here. Maybe it's not. But also, maybe it is. Stay tuned. I feel like this is a zone where the bullet hell aspect of the game really starts to light up. All the little the differently sized fireballs, and then coupled with the AoEs. For me, truly, truly important to take these guys down as fast as possible. And now something that's going to offer us additional attack speed. Love that. Totally worth doing. Done with the helmet at this point. And look at that, slightly less encumbered too. That's nice. I feel like Tiny Rogues does a good job of ramping up the difficulty over time. We're at that 7th floor, and it should be feeling a little bit more difficult, and it is at this point. But they don't throw that all at you in the beginning unless you fire up the additional difficulty options, of course. That is not something that I dabble with. I like to gang all the currency or experience that I can, whatever type of resource I need. Oof. I don't know how we survived that one. And I like to open up all the meta progression options that I possibly can. Yeah, this was a tough choice. But I thought ultimately we've got the companion. Let's go for it. Sometimes these room options throw me for a loop. It takes me a second to really figure out what I want to do. Maybe you struggle with that occasionally too. And, I think it's really a lot of times because all the options are good. You want all of them, but you can only pick one. Good problem to have, right? As we were moving on and it felt like we were getting more and more powerful, I thought, well, I think maybe we've got a chance at this whole Shadowlands thing. I do like the flasks as well. They come in handy. And so I thought it was worth refilling them. These guys are going down at a good clip now. This is a boss that always used to throw me for a loop as well. Goes into this phase where you got to get in there and dodge. I just kind of stepped in the wrong spot when it kicked off. take him down so fast? There's only so much to worry about, right? Some of the set bonuses, when they pop up, you look at it and you go, well, I don't know that that really fits what I'm looking for. And sometimes it's something that maybe you didn't expect was going to show up. And you go, you know, that would be really interesting, but I haven't built in that way. How do I kind of work that in or force that in to what I'm trying to do? When the burger shows up, you take the burger. Every time. And if that does strength and dex, I'm assuming that that is one of those glorious smash burgers. It's been a while since I've had a smash burger, now that I think about it, and I'm gonna have to remedy that in the new year, I think. Tell you, those enemies that blast out the projectiles that stick to the walls always threw me for a loop. Non-triggered lucky hit, summon an exploding dove. It's some really neat stuff. A lot of times I have to go back and just compare to what I have. Thrusting damage inflicts bleed. There we go. Got some of that. And look what it is. Already at a 36% lucky chance. And I love that now you can make purchases with souls. You know, it used to be the souls were for buying the meta progression. I think that was a really smart change. Now, this pickup made total sense to me. Also, it changes your look in the game. Don't you love that when games do that? It's the little things for me. Had to go here for the Tink Tink, repair the armor. But now we're doing bleed. In addition to all the other statuses that we were applying. And the nasty build just got nastier. Now, I will admit, sometimes I move quickly. Sometimes I miss out on a potential collaborative mix of weapons and capabilities like we talked about before. I mean, look at that. Look at that. Like we talked about before, there are so many things coming together in this game, and sometimes I have a tough time keeping track of all of it. I think that Ruby Dev has done a great job of putting out reminders. You know, you're getting an update, 12% total currently. That helps. That's the kind of stuff that is extremely helpful along the way. So the quality of life options have absolutely been enhanced. Of course, when I started playing Tiny Rogues, a lot of these options and weapons and abilities just didn't exist in the game. So the quality of life stuff has become that much more important for gamers like me that forget, right? I bet Ruby Dev was thinking, oh, you know who's gonna really appreciate this line of code right here? The GOAT. That's who. That's who. Right? Maybe there's even comments next to the line of code. This is for the GOAT, so that he has remembering +1. Right? It's that GOAT remembering +1 stat. Upgrade to all memory. Hey, that's all right. That's all right. As long as we're having fun out here, and we were. We were having a good time. That's what it's all about. We're just having fun out here, folks. It's all good. So what do? Do you go to the pawn shop because you're loaded? Or do you say, hey, 111 gold is enough? It's enough. I thought it was enough. Devil horns look cool, but when your build is going so extremely well, you just get to this point where you're like, you know, I don't know that we need to mess with this. That's kind of the way I was feeling. Yeah, I kind of just chose a drink. It occurred to me then that the booze options do different things, because it used to just be beer, if I'm remembering right. And then I started reading, you know, and yeah. You know, then you find stuff out. That's 1 container of booze per heart that you have. I decided no on the gift box. I was looking for the Enchantress, and I know we could have re-rolled and stayed at the hotel. It seems to require a special key. I figured it's got to be around here somewhere. Use the rusty key. You open the lock, but the key crumbled to dust. Oh, it's a legendary. During combat, periodically spawn a rune circle every 10 seconds. Standing in the rune circle grants 100% crit chance. Yes. We will become the architect. Remember when I said previously I was feeling really good about the build? I was feeling even better about the build after picking up that legendary. Really good stuff. Your critical hits gain 150% critical hit multiplier against bleeding enemies, which is a stat that we can give. You just love to see it. Easy decision, but I still wanted to review the other ones. In my master's stead, I am here to protect his domain. Prepare for your imminent annihilation. He was talking about himself there. This was nice to have something that homed in on enemies because he put out those crystal minions. So I was glad to have the piranhas at that point. How do we feel about the new drop system on taking out a boss? I really like it. And you can kind of control how these work by choosing some of the meta progression options. So I just opened up one previously where every time I beat the first stage boss, I'm going to be offered a companion. I really like that. I dig the companions in this game. These things always throw me for a loop. It's the having to dodge multiple laser beams all at the same time. It hurts my brain a little bit. Fish and chips. We're just gonna get into all the fried foods today, aren't we? I like a good plate of fish and chips, man. Wow. It's been a while. We don't eat a whole lot of fish. My wife is really into it. I'm kind of into it. I've got to be in the mood for it, which is too bad because it's really good for you. All the omegas. Gotta get that final level up. If we can. Kind of a race against time when you're on the 10th floor. This one really threw me for a second, you know? I wanted that level up. Might as well go to the shop if you're holding over 100, right? I was hoping that a food item would pop up in the shop. Might as well get the additional heart, right? 5% increased attack speed. Not using a mana character, so might as well switch those out, was what was going through my mind. Seemed like a good change for us. And that I just wasn't interested in. And there's the cake. My mom was over the other night for the kids' concert. Both of my kids were in a holiday concert together. One plays trumpet and one plays the bass clarinet. And so my folks came out to see the show. And that's a good reason for cake. You know? So my mom whipped up this key lime cake. And, you know, it was more nice, moist, cream cheese frosted cake than it was key lime. It was the essence of lime. I was so confident against death here. Like, I really figured this was going to go well. You just love seeing the snake run out there real quick and saying, hey, I'm here. I'm here to poison you. And now it truly gets harder. That one I shouldn't have missed on. That was very poor. If you're yelling at the screen right now, well deserved. Well deserved. So this was my first time taking death out in the update here, which was exciting. Lucky hits rolled +1 additional time. Tough choice, right? I figured why not. If we use them, we use them. If we don't, we don't. The build is already going extremely well. That's where I go back to, hey, wait a second. It's working really well. So I got in here and I thought, all right, well, let's maybe, we won't drink that. I remember that being bad. I don't know what that is. Yeah, let's maybe check that out. And then I saw the shadow planes and I thought, oh, that's the thing. That's the thing we need to do. We need to find the Guardian. How is this gonna work? And then when you see golden broccoli, you go, oh my god, if they're giving this out, this must truly be challenging, what we are about to experience here. And I will tell you right now, the shadow planes does not hold back. They do give you some good stuff along the way. I like the design of that tree. That looks very scary. A lot of battles with the undead here. Yeah, it seemed like that was the way to go. You've been inflicted with Wither. Wither is a stackable status effect that reduces movement speed by 1% per stack. You know, I read it and I thought, oh, you mean like when we were over encumbered? We got this. Yeah, I did not expect the grabby hands. Watch out for the grabby hands. You do not want that to happen to you. More lucky hit chance. Wonderful. I was in there, I thought, where is grabby hands? Down to 1 heart. Not great. Not great. Thankfully, I remembered to use the flasks. It's one thing to have them. It's an entirely other thing remembering to use them. I was scared enough to pause and remember. Yeah, now some of you might have went Ambrosia there, and I completely respect that mode. Oh, look at that. Not this time, Grabby. I completely respect anybody that would have went for the Ambrosia. It's very good. But I thought, you know what? I've been taking some hits along the way. Maybe we'll continue taking hits along the way. Right? Like right there. But I knew I was getting close to something. Lore 11. Dash 9. Might as well pop it off right now, right? Take a sip. One final rest. I was just taking a look to see if there was anything else that I need to remember to use prior to this battle. I've felt your presence inching ever closer. I am Gurion, Draconic Lich, Purveyor of Souls and High Magistrate of Death. Mortal, your mere heartbeat is an anomaly in this realm of silence. Many have tried to conquer the shadows, only to become one with them. Do you think you're any different? Death's embrace is inevitable, and this time I am its harbinger. Your journey ends here in the cold grasp of the void. That's not very nice. It's not very nice at all. So I thought to myself, you know what, we got 2 hearts here. We have a revive opportunity because of the meta progression granting us that. Let's just take this guy down. And so he has this move very similar to Death, where he's got those beams that fire off. Your defiance is but a brief spark of light in an endless sea of darkness. You will become a mere whisper, forever lost in eternal silence. The shadows grow denser, the chill more profound. I feel my power surge. Your end is nigh. Yield to the eternal night. Stop resisting. Yeah. Not gonna happen. Not gonna happen. This got crazy. And can you imagine if I would have gotten taken down by that incoming final AoE? I was so concerned. And I thought, boy, I should really take a look at these because I have no idea what's coming next, or if anything's coming next. Here we go. Only a truly lawful being can continue onwards. Where does the allegiance of your soul lie, mortal? The scale of death will be the judge of it. I wasn't quite sure what was going to happen here. And then I was denied entry. Requires integrity alignment of 4. I thought, well, maybe that has to do with the world level thing. Let's go ahead and take a sip and end this run, knowing full well that we had beaten the Guardian and therefore opened up the next world tier. Achieving this world objective unlocked ethereal shops and enabled paths to unlock new classes. And a bunch of experience toward mastery level. Folks, this was a great run. Thanks so much for hanging out. We can now try to open up some new characters. That's going to be fun. Remember, we are doing a massive giveaway. Be subscribed, leave a comment, and I will pick some of you to win a copy of Tiny Rogues. So you can get in here and enjoy this update as well. You take care out there, and we'll see you next time where we'll get together, we'll play a roguelike or a roguelite, because that's what we do out here every single time.